So hello everyone, today we are going to see 5 chess classic positions that will improve your calculation to a high level. These are mostly tactical positions, so you have to solve the puzzles, and I will wait for 5 seconds and you can also pause the video and think for your turn. So now going on to the first position, this is the position and it is white to play, and our main theme here is to bring out the king and checkmate it or win a huge amount of material. So I'll wait for 5 seconds, you can pause the video and think for the turn of white. Okay, so in this position the move that white had played is bishop takes f7 so as to expose the king. Now if we take the bishop, then there are several lines, but if the king doesn't take this and declines it and let's say goes to f8, then we have the tactic that is knight fork by placing knight to e6, and you can see that this is a fork and we win the queen. So if king takes bishop, then we win the queen. Moving behind, so black has to accept this. Black takes the bishop and he takes it, then also will respond to the move knight to e6, attacking the queen. Now you might wonder that what happens if the king takes it. Now let's see, if king takes the knight, then there's a simple mate in 2 that starts from queen to d5, king to f6 and queen to f5 finishes the game. Moving behind, so here the queen is attacked and we also take the f8 square from the queen, so the only square queen left is the e8 square. Now we play a knight fork, that is knight takes c7, attacking the queen once again, and wherever the queen goes, let's say the queen goes to d8, then we respond with the move queen to d5 check. Here king has 3 alternatives. King can go to f6, that time we go to f5 and checkmate. King can go to f8, which will lead to a fork on e6, winning the queen just like this. And the king can also go to the g6 square. Here in this case we will mate it on f5 because we are also covering this long diagonal via our bishop. Moving behind, so here the queen can't go to d8, and instead if the queen goes to f8, then we respond with the move queen to h5 check. Here if black responds with the move king to f6, then this is a mate, and if black plays g6 blocking the check, then we go queen to d5 check. King has 2 alternatives, that is g7 and f6. Let's say if goes to g7, then there's a fork here winning the queen, and if the king goes to f6, then bishop to g5 check, king to g7, and this leads to a fork once again and we win the queen. So this was the first chess classic puzzle in which we started it from just a bishop sacrifice on f7, brought the king outside and crushed black. So this had so many variations that now you should know that you should be tactically alert in all the moves in your game. So now let's move on to the position number 2, in which this time we are black. So before we start calculating, I'll just tell the idea of black. Black wants to checkmate the white queen by going to e3 because it covers all its squares. But the twist or the problem is that this queen is right here protecting the square. So your task is you have to deflect this queen so that you can deliver a mate on the square e3. So I'll wait for 5 seconds and then you can tell the answer, or you can pause the video and think for yourself. Okay, so in this position we have to deflect the queen. So the way we do is by sacrificing our rook by playing rook to g3. Wow, what's the idea? That is, if the pawn takes, then the queen is blocked, of course, and we can go to e3 and this is a checkmate. But if the queen takes it, now you will be thinking what to do. But here we have an amazing tactic, that is bishop to h4. We pin the queen. But it is not an absolute pin because the queen can take the bishop. But that would mean we are going to win it by queen to e3 and it's a checkmate. And if at all white sees this, that he cannot take the bishop, then his lovely queen is lost and we can win the game. So this was a lovely little cute puzzle that started from the move rook to g3 so as to deflect the queen and then force the mate on e3. So now let's move on to the third puzzle that is going to be a little tricky. So in this puzzle, it is black to move and you need to find only one move from black which will win the entire game. I'll give you 5 seconds or you can pause the video and think for yourself. Okay, so what does black want to do is he want to put a discovery on the queen right here. So for that he has to move this knight from the between. But what if black moves the knight somewhere like here, then the queen takes our queen and it would be an equal exchange. So black thought something and played the amazing stunning move, that is knight to g3. So you might be thinking, why is he sacrificing this knight? But you will see that if anything takes the knight, let's say pawn, then the queen is hanging because we gave a discovery. So the knight can't be taken. But what if the queen is exchanged first? But this is the first and the last blunder because we stun our opponent by playing the move knight d to e2, and that is an amazing checkmate via the two knights. So in this puzzle it was just this much, that if anything takes the knight, we take the queen for free, and if at all he takes the queen, then this is checkmate. Now you'll be thinking that if white sees this and plays any other normal looking move like queen to e1, then what would black do? It is simple. We can just go knight to e2 and then the king can't go anywhere because our knights are taking. So the queen has to take and we win the queen, and of course a queen is a huge piece, so we can convert it. I am sure that you might like this. This was the amazing puzzle and I love this. Now let's move on to the fourth classic puzzle that is on the screen right here, and we are white. So I'll wait for 5 seconds and you have to calculate. Okay, so in this position you can of course guess it that we are all in to checkmate this king, and if we don't do anything at the moment, then we would be in grave danger because we are already a rook down. So what did white do is play the stunning move queen to g6. Wow! If black takes with the f pawn, then we respond with knight takes pawn, check. The king can't move because all our soldiers are right here, and if the pawn takes, that he has to take, then we respond with the move rook to h3, and you can see it's a lovely checkmate because we deliver the checkmate with a rook and the bishop takes the other square. So now if the h pawn takes the queen, then what? Then also we strike in with the rook to h3, and this is a direct mate because this time our knight is taking the square. But if either of the pawn doesn't take, and let's say any other move like bishop takes the bishop, then we respond with the move queen takes pawn. The king is obliged to take the queen, and we then strike in with rook to h3, check and mate because these two squares are taken by the knight. So wow, this was an amazing little maneuver that we used to checkmate the black king. We started from the stunning move queen to g6. Wow. So we should be alert at any move, because even though we will be some points down, we can convert it by tactics. So now let's move on to the fifth classic game that is on our screen. Here we have to deflect this queen from here, because our first thought is to exchange this, but at the last the queen comes and sits here on e8. So for that we have to deflect this queen. So I'll give you 5 seconds and you can pause the video for your calculations. Think that if this queen weren't there, then we can take this and it would have been a back rank mate, right? So we have to deflect this queen. How can we do that? Is we have to just take it out of this diagonal. So we'll play the move queen to g4. Oh my god, this is a queen sacrifice. If the queen takes it, then rook takes rook takes, and this is a lovely checkmate. And if at all the queen doesn't take, then the only square it has in this diagonal is this square. So queen comes here, and then we have to deflect it once again. So we'll play the move queen to c4. This time we deflect both the pieces, the rook as well as the queen. If queen takes, then we have this back rank mate, and if the rook takes it, then also it's a lovely back rank. So nothing can take our queen, but he can go back to the square d7. Now if you go back to g4, then he'll just repeat and he'll take a draw, which will satisfy him because we are completely winning. So from here we have to find the key move, that is the only move in this position, which is queen to c7. We deflect it once again, and now you know if queen takes, then this leads to a mate, and if rook takes, then also this leads to a mate. But what if after queen to c7 the queen goes back to a4? Then it's turn of our rook. We deflect the queen via rook. If anything takes, like say rook takes or queen takes, then we take it first. If here they take a queen, then mate. If he takes a rook, then like this it will be a mate. And if at all the rook takes here, then we take this rook first, rook comes behind or the queen comes behind, and we exchange everything and lead to a mate. So the queen can't go to e5, a4 certainly, but he can go to b5. Here we can't deflect it via rook or the queen, but we can go to the same position by the move e4. The queen can't go to both these squares because it will hang, so you have to take it, and after rook to e4, you know that how would we convert it and do a back rank mate. So these were the 5 amazing chess classic puzzles that you must know, because these have so much calculating skills that tells us we have to see every move as a tactic and never wait for the opponent to strike back. So I hope that you loved this video, and if you like all these puzzles, you can also put on the like button down the video and also share it to all your friends, all your chess mates, because these are very important. Also, if you are new to my channel, then do take time to subscribe it, because I post regular videos like this so that you get more material to study, like tactics, positional play, and many other things, traps and all, so that you won't miss anything in your game. So now I'll meet you in the next video. Stay safe and play chess. Goodbye.